She lost her voice after tragedy, but the CEO's patience brought it back. After a sudden tragedy, Lily
She
Harper
needs
lost
help.
her voice. Every attempt to speak ended in silence, every
She
word
needs help.
trapped behind tears and fear. Alone in her small
I
apartment,
can help you.
hope seemed impossible. Until
Nice
Ethan
and
Carter,
snooze.
a CEO known for his power, but
I
not yet his
I
kindness,
can't.
noticed her struggle. Across a crowded cafe, he saw her pain and stepped forward. "I can help you,"
It's okay.
he said
Take your
softly,
time.
with patience in every word. Trembling unsure, Lily whispered, "I can't." But Ethan's calm reassurance,
Miss,
"It's okay. Take your time," offered a small spark of hope. Then for the first time in months, a sound escaped her lips. "Yes." And in that moment, healing began. Raindrops fell lightly against the window, casting a cool gray light over the small apartment where Lily Harper sat. She curled up in her chair, hands trembling as she held a steaming cup of tea, eyes staring blankly into the void. Since the tragic event, her voice had vanished. Every attempt to speak ended in silence. The world around her felt heavy, each breath a labor, and the only sounds were broken sobs echoing in the empty room. Sophie, Lily's younger sister, stepped closer, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder, eyes full of worry and love. You'll be okay. Try taking a deep breath," she whispered, her voice shaking, but her words could not penetrate the wall of silence that surrounded Lily. The young woman closed her eyes, swallowing each rising emotion, drowning in a mix of pain and suffocating despair. Outside, amidst the rush of hurried pedestrians, Ethan Carter walked into a nearby cafe. Holding a cup of coffee, his gaze happened to settle on Lily. In that brief instant, the weight of power and daily busyness seemed to vanish, replaced by attention and empathy. Mia Brooks, his loyal assistant, leaned in to quietly remind him about the girl who had lost her voice. Ethan said nothing, only observing. A single look was enough to see the depth of pain in Lily's eyes, a pain she had believed invisible to everyone. The room was so quiet that the gentle piano music from the cafe and the whistling wind outside seemed to resonate through the space. The cold light from the window mingled with the warm, golden glow inside, hinting at a flicker of hope. Lily had no idea that in this very moment, the gaze of a stranger filled with quiet empathy was beginning to carve a path for her from silence to speech, from loneliness to connection, and from despair to hope. And that was the fateful moment when two lives were about to intersect and a story of healing quietly began. Chapter 1: The Loss of Her Voice. Rain fell lightly against the window, each droplet tapping the glass in a lonely rhythm that Lily Harper felt as if it were the city itself sighing. She curled up in her worn chair in the small apartment, hands trembling as she held a cup of steaming tea, though its warmth did little to reach the emptiness inside her. Everything around her felt heavier, the cold gray light filtering through the curtains, the neatly arranged yet lifeless furniture. The empty room reflected the depth of her solitude, a young woman who had endured a life-altering event with no voice left to express her pain. She tried to speak a single word, trembling on her lips, "Help," but only silence answered. Sobs intermingled with the quiet echoing through the tiny space, swallowing everything around her. Each attempt to speak felt as though an invisible wall blocked her, choking her voice. Memories of the accident, of the great loss, perhaps a loved one, perhaps a missed opportunity, surfaced relentlessly, weighing on her heartbeat. leaving her feeling powerless and adrift in a world that suddenly felt alien. Sophie Harper, her younger sister, hovered nearby, anxious and unsure. She didn't know how to help, only placing her hand lightly on Lily's shoulder as if to transmit a fraction of warmth. "I'm here. You'll be okay. Take a deep breath." "Okay," Sophie whispered, her voice trembling, afraid of causing more pain. Yet her words full of love could not pierce the wall of silence surrounding Lily. Lily closed her eyes, swallowing the mounting emotions, the despair seeming to fill the entire room. Every movement felt heavy. Her hand shook so violently that the teacup wobbled, sending ripples across its surface. A shiver ran through her as the memory of the moment she lost her voice returned. Her chest tightened, eyes watering. She wondered if she would ever find her voice again or remain in silence forever. The small apartment felt more suffocating than ever. Low ceilings and bare walls seemed to mirror her loneliness. Memories surged, the accident happening in a blur, the pounding of her heart, flickering lights, the helplessness. She remembered trying to scream, to call for help, but the sound caught in her throat. In that moment, she felt the loss not only of her voice, but of her faith in the world. Everything she once considered ordinary, the sound of laughter, kind words, caring inquiries, suddenly felt like a luxury beyond reach. Sophie watched her sister, eyes full of worry and love. She wanted to do something to give Lily her voice back, to change everything, but she couldn't. She could only hold her sister's hand quietly, a small gesture filled with hope, as if passing on a bit of strength Lily desperately needed. "You'll get through this. I believe in you," Sophie whispered, softly, trembling. But Lily's despair was too great. Sophie's words seemed to vanish into an invisible void. The room was silent, only the gentle piano music from an old radio on the shelf, the wind whistling through the window cracks, and the rhythm of Lily's heartbeat remained. These sounds were both background and reminder of the world outside, a world Lily felt disconnected from. She exhaled, swallowing back another sob, clenching her eyes shut to hold back more tears. Yet they still traced her cheeks, marking the depth of her pain and solitude. Suddenly, a sound from the hallway startled her, the footsteps of Ethan Carter. The powerful CEO, known to everyone, made his first appearance in Lily's story, though she had no idea who he was. He entered a nearby cafe, busy with coffee and documents, but his gaze casually settled on the quiet girl. In that fleeting moment, the weight of power and daily busyness melted away, replaced by attention and empathy. Mia Brooks, Ethan's loyal assistant, leaned in to quietly remind him of the girl who had lost her voice. Ethan said nothing, only observed his gaze, intent, as if trying to read the pain etched in Lily's eyes. The space around them grew hushed. The piano and the whistling wind merged, creating an atmosphere both heavy and strange, evoking tension and curiosity. The cold light from outside blended with the warm, golden glow of the cafe, reflecting off Lily's face as if signaling a flicker of hope. Unbeknownst to her, Ethan's empathetic gaze had begun to chart a path from silence to speech, from loneliness to connection, from despair to hope. This was the fateful moment when two people, a powerful CEO and a fragile young woman, were about to meet, opening a story of healing, where patience and human kindness could mend the deepest wounds. Lily closed her eyes, inhaling deeply as if preparing for the turning point to come. Sophie stood beside her, hand lightly on her sister's shoulder, eyes filled with both worry and hope. Ethan continued to watch, his eyes thoughtful, yet determined. Everything, the light, the sounds, the heartbeat, seemed to pause, waiting for the first moment when Lily would feel connection, and the journey of reclaiming her lost voice would quietly begin. In the small, empty apartment, with the rain falling outside and the soft piano music filling the space, Lily Harper realized that though her voice was gone, her faith and hope had never truly disappeared, and that there were people, even strangers, willing to step into her world and offer the healing she thought she had lost forever. Chapter 2. The CEO Notices. Rain continued to fall gently over the streets of New York, each droplet shattering against the cafe window into tiny sparkling lights. Ethan Carter stepped inside, black suit jacket over his shoulders, a freshly poured coffee in hand, eyes scanning the bustling crowd. Yet in that instant, his gaze settled on a small figure sitting quietly by the window, Lily Harper. Her brown hair fell naturally around her flushed face, eyes brimming with sorrow, hands trembling as she gripped her cup of tea. Ethan couldn't look away. Pain was not new to him. Power and wealth had taught him to observe everything, but this was different. A strange feeling surged, an unexpected wave of empathy. He saw her loneliness, her confusion, her despair, but beneath it all, there was a flicker of strength, a fragile spark of hope. Ethan slowed his pace, careful not to draw attention, yet his eyes remained fixed on Lily. She lifted her cup, hands shaking, then lowered it again, gaze fixed on the empty space before her. Every movement, every small sob made his chest tighten. Mia Brooks, his loyal assistant, stood silently nearby, observing. "Notice that girl," she whispered softly. "I heard she went through a major trauma." Lost her voice completely. Ethan said nothing, eyes still locked on Lily. A deep breath, and for the first time in weeks, a different feeling stirred within him. Not power, not ambition, but an urge to help to heal a wounded heart. Ethan inhaled again, his hand tightening around the coffee cup. Memories of his own past helplessness surfaced, moments he had tried to help yet failed. And now, in this moment, an opportunity appeared, not to command or control, but to truly listen, to be the person who could make Lily feel safe. A wave of curiosity spread. Who was this girl? Why did her eyes hold both pain and hope at once? Lily furrowed her brow, hands trembling as she held her cup, trying to say something, but only a faint sob escaped. Her eyes flickered with a tiny despair before lowering, leaving her words suspended in the air. Ethan watched, realizing that her pain ran deeper than losing her voice. It came from loneliness, from wounds yet to heal. A silent empathy rose within him. If he could, he would do everything to help her reclaim her voice and her faith in herself. Mia whispered again, quietly but audibly, to Ethan. "They say she hasn't spoken since the accident, but her eyes hold an unusual strength. Do you want to try approaching her?" Ethan did not answer, only observed. A moment of silence passed. He looked at Lily, noting every small movement, every tear sliding down her cheeks, and realized something no report, no spreadsheet could teach. Human emotion was stronger than any power. He turned slightly, taking a sip of his hot coffee, feeling the warmth spread through his hand. The light from the window fell on Lily's face, pale gold, like a small beam piercing the gloom around her. He understood that this fleeting moment was an opportunity to connect. And Ethan, a man used to controlling everything, chose this time to watch quietly, without rush, without pressure, allowing Lily the freedom in her silent world, letting her know that someone truly cared, someone could listen. Lily in her silence had no idea that Ethan's eyes were tracking her, capturing each emotion, each tear, each fear. She furrowed her brow, trembling as she held her cup, then quietly set it down, lowering her gaze. The moment seemed endless, yet for Ethan, he knew just one small step, one gentle word, could let him enter her world and begin the journey of healing. A cold breeze brushed the glass, making the curtains sway, rustling softly alongside the delicate piano notes. Ethan observed Lily, realizing that her tears and trembling movements were a language she still used to speak to the world, even without words. He inhaled deeply, preparing to take the next step, yet maintaining a safe distance so Lily could feel free, so the space between them became warm without pressure. Curiosity and hope swelled within Ethan. He didn't know how this girl would respond when he approached, but he knew one thing for certain: he had to do something. Not for power, not for fame, but because he sensed a person in need, and sometimes presence and an empathetic gaze mattered more than words. Lily turned away, lips trembling, eyes half closed, yet the soft golden light from the window illuminated her face, igniting a fragile spark of hope that Ethan clearly saw. In that moment, he realized that the small girl's tragedy could become a journey of healing, not just for her, but for him as well. A journey that would teach him patience, kindness, and the power of listening and understanding. Ethan stepped slowly closer to Lily, still maintaining distance, observing her every small motion. His gaze was full of empathy, calm yet warm. Lily did not yet realize it, but this was the fateful intersection, two people each having lived in worlds filled with pain, now beginning a connection from which hope would slowly emerge and healing would quietly begin. The small room was filled with the soft piano, the wind, the heartbeat, and the golden light filtering through the window, creating a space both somber and full of potential. Ethan understood he did not need to rush, only patience, presence, and gaze. Lily, with her wounded heart and lost voice, was still sending faint signals, and he would be the first to respond with empathy and patience. In that moment, amid the gentle rain, the golden light, and the quiet piano, Ethan knew this story would not end with mere observation. A new chapter was about to unfold, and hope, small yet tangible, had appeared. Lily, though unaware, had been truly seen, and Ethan for the first time felt the weight and value of healing a person emerging from silence. Chapter 3. An offer of help. The cafe was unusually quiet compared to the bustling streets outside. The rain tapped gently on the tin roof, forming a delicate soundtrack that blended seamlessly with the soft piano notes drifting from the old speakers. Ethan Carter stood a few steps away from Lily, eyes fixed on the small, trembling figure in the chair by the window. He drew a deep breath, feeling his heartbeat align, almost like a silent rhythm intertwining with hers, a quiet, endless melody amidst the crowded world. Lily Harper had no idea that someone was watching her. Her hands shook violently, barely able to hold her tea steam curling around her fingers. She closed her eyes, trying to calm herself, but her body did not obey. A soft sob slipped out, absorbed into the hushed space. She felt suffocated, wanting to retreat into herself, to a place where only loneliness and despair remained. Ethan stepped forward slowly, each movement measured, careful, not to impose, careful, not to frighten her further. He bent slightly, keeping just enough distance to make her feel safe, and spoke in a calm, warm, gentle voice, "I can help you." The words were neither loud nor rushed, yet they carried an unusual weight, like a bridge over the wall of silence Lily had built around herself. She startled, eyes opening slightly to look at Ethan. Fear flashed first her gaze, wary, uncertain. But in the next instant, a small light flickered, a fragile but unmistakable glimmer of hope. Sophie stood beside her, lightly holding Lily's hand, eyes still following Ethan. She sensed the change in the air, a gentle warmth flowing through the room. Lily closed her eyes, inhaling deeply, trying to steady herself. Yet a new feeling stirred within her. She was not entirely alone. Someone truly wanted to help someone, truly wanted to listen. Ethan said nothing more, maintaining his focused gaze, a subtle nod and delicate smile. The gesture, quiet yet powerful, sent Lily a clear message: he would not rush her. He would not frighten her, but he would stay patiently until she was ready to speak. The cafe seemed to pause, as if the world outside had slowed. The rain against the window, the soft piano music, even the occasional clink of cups from the staff, all seemed to retreat, leaving space for this delicate exchange between two souls. Lily felt Ethan's presence, an invisible warmth surrounding her, shielding her in a subtle protective embrace. She inhaled again, attempting to speak, but only a faint sob emerged. Surprise flickered across her face. Then a tiny spark of light appeared in her watery eyes. She realized this was not a cold stranger, nor a casual, curious gaze. This was genuine concern, full of empathy and patience. For the first time in many days, Lily sensed that perhaps she would not be completely alone anymore. Ethan nodded slightly, eyes unwavering. No explanations, no grand gestures, just a look, a gentle voice, and a safe distance. That distance was where Lily felt secure, where she could begin to test the possibility of speech to reclaim the voice the tragedy had stolen from her. Sophie's grip on her sister's hand tightened, eyes bright with hope. "You can do this," she whispered, lending strength to Lily. Lily remained still, a mixture of fear and an unfamiliar surge of hope filling her heart. The painful memories were still there, but Ethan's gentle gaze was like a small lantern guiding her through the darkness. She tried again, producing a soft sob rather than complete silence. Ethan smiled, eyes full of encouragement, unhurried, unpressured. He simply stood there, an invisible anchor, letting Lily feel that even without her voice, she could begin to regain confidence. That moment was the harmony of two hearts, Lily fragile, but gradually gaining strength, Ethan strong, yet tender. The golden sunlight streaming through the window fell upon Lily's face, reflecting in her red-rimmed yet lively eyes. Ethan realized that if he moved too quickly, if he imposed authority or pressure, she would recoil. But with patience, with presence, and empathetic gaze alone, he could open the first door, guiding her back to her voice, back to hope. Lily looked at him once more, this time her gaze clearer. Fear lingered, but it mingled with a newfound sense of safety. She realized that sometimes a person doesn't need to say much, doesn't need grand gestures. Simply being there quietly and patiently can be enough to heal a broken heart. The cafe grew even gentler. Warm piano notes, the soft patter of rain on the glass. Lily's heartbeat, slowing slightly, a calming rhythm settling into her soul. Ethan stood there, gaze still gentle, a subtle smile playing on his lips. Lily felt it. This was the first moment in the long journey ahead when she would not be entirely alone, when hope would begin to bloom. She closed her eyes, inhaled deeply, and for the first time in days, felt the warmth of genuine care spreading within her. No rush, no promises, no commitments, just the patient presence and a kind gaze. Lily knew she could open her heart, attempt to speak, and take small steps to reclaim the voice she had lost. And in that moment, amid the rain, the golden light, and the soft piano, this became the first milestone on her journey of healing. Ethan Carter was not just a powerful CEO, but the first emotional anchor, gentle yet strong, guiding Lily from the shadows of despair toward the first flicker of hope. Tears fell quietly, not as a mark of pure despair, but as the first drops of hope, of feeling protected, of believing that even without her voice, she could be heard, understood, and one day speak to the world again. And Lily, with eyes mingling fear and hope, realized that for the first time since her tragedy, she had encountered someone who made her heart no longer entirely alone, a person who with gentleness and patience could lead her back to her voice and the light of hope. Chapter 4. First Steps to Healing. Early morning light filtered through the curtains of Dr. Samuel Kim's small therapy room. Soft golden rays softening the sharp edges of the otherwise neatly arranged but sterile space. Lily Harper sat in the center chair, hands gripping the armrests, her breath still heavy after days of complete silence. Her heart raced with each beat, reminding her that today she would face a major challenge, speaking aloud for the first time since the tragedy. Ethan Carter stood nearby, one hand resting lightly on the edge of the chair, keeping a respectful distance. His gaze was gentle, yet filled with determination. He said nothing, offering quiet encouragement through his eyes, and a subtle reassuring smile as if to say, "Everything will be okay. Take it slowly." Lily drew a deep breath, closing her eyes, focusing on her own breathing, feeling the rhythm of life still flowing through her body. She opened her mouth, attempting a simple word, "Hello," but only a faint trembling sound escaped, nearly inaudible. Her body shook, shoulders slumped, and a wave of failure surged through her. The world seemed to collapse around her, every tiny belief shattered in seconds. Ethan stepped a little closer, bending slightly, his warm voice steady. "Take your time." The simple words carried weight like a lifeline thrown across an ocean of despair. Lily looked at him, eyes flickering with fear, but also sparking a faint glimmer of hope. She understood that this time there was no pressure, no judgment, only patience, presence, and empathy, and that made her feel safe, a feeling she thought long lost. Dr. Samuel Kim entered the room, white coat calm, yet authoritative voice. "We'll start with basic breathing techniques. No rush, no straining. Lily, focus on your own breath first. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly." Lily listened intently, closing her eyes, inhaling deeply, feeling the air fill her chest. A strange sensation spread through her body, her breath reaching every muscle and cell. carrying a small measure of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. Ethan stayed nearby, keeping a safe distance, his eyes filled with patience, occasionally moving his hands subtly as if transmitting invisible strength. Dr. Kim guided Lily to position her tongue open her mouth correctly, breathe steadily, and pronounce simple vowels A, E, I, O, U. Lily followed, voice trembling sounds faint and swallowed in her throat. A single tear rolled down her cheek, but this time it was not pure despair, it was awareness. She was beginning. Ethan gently lifted his hand, holding Lily's hand softly, eyes brimming with empathy. He said nothing, just smiled, conveying silently, "Take your time. There's nothing to fear." The warmth of his presence encouraged Lily to open her mouth again. The sound A emerged weak and shaky, yet real. Outside the glass, Sophie watched quietly, eyes shining with hope. She smiled softly, knowing that for the first time since the tragedy, Lily had begun her journey to reclaim her voice. Each trembling breath, each wavering sound, was a small but meaningful victory. Dr. Kim encouraged her. "Very good, Lily. Each sound you make is progress. Don't worry if it isn't perfect. We'll practice step by step." Lily nodded lightly. The tension remained, but the weight of it had lessened. The faint sounds she produced were enough to remind her that her voice was still there, waiting to be revived. Ethan stayed nearby, patient gaze, unwavering shoulders, bending slightly as if to convey, "You are not alone, and you can do this." The therapy room was quiet, filled only with soft piano music, Lily's breath, and the steady rhythm of her heart. Each sound she produced was a powerful signal she was fighting, striving to overcome her fear and reclaiming herself. Golden light streamed through the curtains, reflecting across her face, creating a scene both gentle and hopeful. Lily tried her first short phrase, "I am." The words were shaky, weak, but real. Another tear fell, not of despair this time, but of relief, a beginning of the healing journey. Ethan smiled, eyes full of encouragement. No words were needed. The message was clear. You don't have to be perfect. Just take one step at a time. Lily inhaled deeply, feeling the warmth from his care and patience, sensing safety for the first time in days. Sophie, standing outside, held Lily's hand through the glass eyes, bright with joy, knowing that her sister had begun to reclaim trust. Each trembling sound, each word spoken, was proof of Lily's courage and strength. Dr. Kim continued, "We'll practice one word at a time, one sentence at a time. No rushing, no fear. Let your body and breath guide you." Lily opened her eyes, looking at Ethan and Dr. Kim. Her gaze softened, a faint but genuine smile appearing on her lips. For the first time since the tragedy, she felt hope creeping into her soul. That moment, rain tapping on the window, soft piano music, golden light on her face, was a pivotal step, the beginning of her journey to find her voice. Ethan remained nearby, eyes, gentle hands, lightly holding hers for a few seconds, transmitting invisible strength. He knew that today, words weren't necessary. Presence and patience alone were enough. Lily felt it. She felt safe. She felt hope. And most importantly, she felt that she was no longer alone. Each trembling sound, each deep breath, each falling tear was no longer a sign of despair, but the first steps of recovery, a journey where Lily would learn to listen to her body, trust herself, and reclaim the voice she had lost. By the end of that morning, Lily produced short, shaky yet real words. Ethan smiled, eyes full of encouragement. Dr. Kim noted her progress, pleased yet cautious. Sophie stood outside, tears glistening but smiling. Lily looked at them and realized that for the first time in days, she felt safe, protected, and a fragile yet real hope had appeared. That moment, the soft golden light, the gentle piano, the deep breaths, and the first trembling sounds was proof that everything could begin with a small step, a gentle word of encouragement, and the patient presence of someone who truly cared. Lily Harper had begun walking the path of healing, from silence to speech, from loneliness to connection, and from despair to hope. Chapter 5. Small Victories. The morning in the therapy room opened with soft golden light streaming through the curtains, gently illuminating Lily Harper's face. The space remained quiet, filled only with the soft piano music in the background, her steady breaths, and the occasional hum of the heater. Lily sat in the center chair, hands resting on the table, eyes fixed intently on Dr. Samuel Kim and Ethan Carter, both patiently observing her every small movement. This time, Lily didn't feel overwhelmed. Instead, a strange sensation crept through her, a fragile belief that today she could take another step forward. Dr. Kim spoke gently. Start with simple words. Lily, no rush. Breathe deeply. Open your mouth and let the sound come naturally. Lily inhaled deeply, feeling the breath fill her chest, every muscle and vocal cord vibrating with each exhale. She opened her mouth and spoke her first word, H-L-O. The sound was shaky, but real, breaking through the wall of silence that had surrounded her for days. A small smile appeared on her face, eyes flickering with a brilliance she thought she had lost. Ethan stood beside her, gaze full of encouragement, saying nothing, just smiling. A subtle smile, no words needed yet, conveying safety and protection. He leaned slightly, as if to transmit an invisible surge of strength. You can do this. Just keep going. Sophie Harper, Lily's younger sister, watched from outside the door, eyes shining. When she heard the trembling hello escape from her sister's lips, she couldn't contain herself and rushed in, hugging Lily tightly. You did it, Sophie exclaimed, voice shaking with joy. The room seemed to fill with a gentle yet powerful energy, and Lily couldn't help but smile, her eyes bright with happiness. Dr. Kim continued, slow and deliberate. Very good, Lily. Now try connecting words together. Take a deep breath and say a short sentence. Lily inhaled deeply, feeling her heartbeat and breath synchronize with the background piano music. She opened her mouth and spoke her first short sentence. Okay. Her voice was still shaky, weak, but it was a complete sentence, the first she had genuinely spoken since the tragedy. Pride and hope surged within her. Ethan smiled softly, eyes full of encouragement, occasionally resting a hand lightly on her shoulder to emphasize, no need to rush, take it step by step. He knew that in these small moments, patience and empathy were the greatest strengths. Sophie, overjoyed, jumped and hugged Lily once more. You spoke, I can't believe it. Her voice trembled with happiness. Lily laughed, eyes sparkling warmth, spreading through her body, dispelling some of the darkness from her days of silence. Dr. Kim noted Lily's progress, his gaze both satisfied and cautious. See, these are small but important steps. Every word you speak is a victory." Lily took another deep breath, feeling her body lighten. She began to realize that though her voice was still weak and trembling, each word she spoke proved it was still there, waiting to be restored. Her confidence gradually grew gentle but undeniable. She spoke a short phrase to Ethan. "I can speak." Her voice trembled but was full of life. Ethan looked at her eyes shining, smiling softly, and Lily realized that for the first time in days, she felt trusted and accepted. The moment became even more special with Sophie. Beside her eyes, full of faith and joy, she gently stroked Lily's hair, smiling. "I believe in you now. You're not alone anymore." Lily looked at her sister, sensing unconditional support, a mental strength she thought she had lost forever. The small victories continued. Lily spoke a few more short sentences. "I am happy." Her voice was still shaky, but the emotional flow was clear. Ethan remained beside her eyes, gentle, conveying protection and encouragement without words. She felt warmth radiating from him, the patience he offered, making each sound she produced steadier. Dr. Kim continued guiding her through breathing techniques and pronunciation, emphasizing patience and focus on the breath. Lily learned to regulate her breathing, feeling each vibration in her vocal cords, letting each sound flow naturally. With every word, she realized her voice was growing stronger, gradually overcoming fear and helplessness. The entire room was filled with a warm, gentle, yet powerful energy. The piano music blended with the rain, outside creating an atmosphere both calm and emotionally rich. Lily felt hope spreading within her, each small step, clear and tangible, reinforcing her belief that her voice and her hope would return. Ethan looked at Lily, eyes full of encouragement and empathy. He understood that each small step was not just technical progress, but a recovery of spirit. Lily learned to trust herself, feel the strength from tiny achievements, and realize that though the journey ahead was long, she was no longer alone. By the end of the morning, Lily spoke a full sentence. "I am smiling." Her voice trembled weak, but truly sounded. A tear fell this time, a sign of joy, trust, and a small but undeniable happiness. Ethan smiled. Sophie jumped up to hug her, and Dr. Kim nodded in satisfaction. Warmth spread through the room, golden light shining on Lily's face, creating a scene both gentle and full of hope. Each word spoken, each trembling sound was proof of her inner strength, patience, and the gentle yet powerful presence of those who cared. Lily knew she was stepping forward on the path of recovery, one step at a time, from silence to speech, from despair to hope. That moment, piano music, soft golden light, steady breaths, and the first trembling sounds was a testament to small victories. Short words, brief sentences, shaky sounds yet filled with hope. Lily Harper, for the first time in days, felt belief stirring within her, a small but vivid happiness, and recognized that her voice had begun to return, carrying hope and the promise of deep healing. Chapter 6: Obstacles and Doubts. That day, the quiet of the therapy room was suddenly broken by the persistent ringing of a phone. Ethan Carter leaned down to answer, his deep, calm voice, firm yet serious. "Yes, I understand." He listened, nodded, a flicker of tension crossing his face, then set the phone down. On the other end was rival CEO Victor Lang, an opponent who always sought to overshadow Ethan's decisions, a man whose power and pressure could make even the toughest individuals wary. Victor didn't appear in person. But a single call, a reminder, or a tense meeting could transform outside pressure into a heavy weight on everyone around him. And today, that pressure fell on Lily Harper, who had just begun reclaiming her voice after days of silence. Ethan's gaze softened as he looked at her clearly, aware that outside stress could trigger her self-doubt. Lily sat in the chair, hands resting on the table, breathing heavy. She felt the tension seep into her body from the calls and messages Ethan had just received. In her mind, questions swirled. Am I capable? Will I fail again? How far have I come? And can I continue? Each thought pressed down on her, threatening to drown out her still fragile voice. Sophie, standing outside the glass door, watched her sister with concern. She knew Lily was struggling not only with speaking, but also with the invisible pressures of the outside world. She stepped closer, holding Lily's hand, but couldn't completely erase the unease within her sister. Lily lowered her gaze, eyes reddened, self-doubt rising with every heartbeat. Ethan moved closer, eyes filled with empathy and patience. He bent slightly, voice warm and steady. I believe in you. Those few words pierced through the fog of doubt surrounding Lily. She lifted her head, meeting his gaze, and saw in it an unwavering trust she had not felt from anyone since the tragedy. A mix of worry and hope rose within her fear of failure, yet hope that with Ethan by her side, she could overcome everything. Victor Lang, through messages and call reminders, continued to apply pressure from afar. Projects, reports, targets that Lily had never faced before now crowded her thoughts. Each detail felt like a heavy stone pressing on her shoulders, making her feel inadequate, lacking courage. Yet Ethan's gentle gaze, the warm light streaming through the curtains, reminded her she was not alone. Lily attempted another short phrase, voice trembling. I can... Weak, but real. Ethan nodded, smiling, resting a hand lightly on her shoulder, transmitting invisible strength. No words were needed. His patient presence alone reassured her that no one could dictate her healing but herself. Sophie's eyes glistened with tears, yet her smile couldn't be hidden. I believe in you, she whispered, pressing her hand gently over Lily's, lending her sister emotional strength. Lily inhaled deeply, feeling the warmth from both of them, and for the first time in days, hope began to flicker more clearly. Dr. Samuel Kim stood nearby, guiding her through deep breathing techniques, emphasizing patience. Victor Lang, or any external pressure, doesn't matter. What matters is you step by step, word by word. Lily opened her mouth, connecting the sounds, I am strong. Her voice trembled, yet it was real, echoing throughout the room. A small but meaningful sense of victory filled her. Ethan smiled gently. Sophie hugged her tightly, and Dr. Kim nodded with satisfaction. The therapy room remained quiet, yet vibrant with positive energy. Soft piano music and the golden light reflected on Lily's face, creating a scene both gentle and strong. Each trembling sound, each word she spoke was proof of inner strength and patience. Lily realized that the pressures from Victor Lang or the outside world could not break her as long as she maintained faith and patience, taking it step by step. Challenges continued. Lily tried longer sentences, still trembling. Fear of failure rose, but Ethan's gaze, Sophie's presence, and Dr. Kim's patient guidance acted as small lanterns, illuminating the path ahead. She inhaled deeply, feeling her heartbeat and breath, and for the first time since the tragedy realized she wasn't fighting alone. The pressure remained, Yet a small spark of belief began to spread. Lily spoke word by word, short sentences shaky but real. Each sound was a small victory marking progress she had never felt before. Ethan stood beside her, gentle but steadfast. And in that moment, Lily understood she was gradually reclaiming her voice, rebuilding her confidence, and rediscovering herself. At the final moment of the morning, Lily spoke a complete sentence, "I can do it." Her voice trembled, but it was real, shattering the silence that had dominated her days. Ethan smiled. Sophie hugged her tightly. Dr. Kim nodded in approval. Golden light shone on Lily's face. Soft piano music filled the room, a picture of tension transformed into hope. Though pressure from Victor Lang still lingered, Lily knew she had found the inner strength and faith to continue. This moment, trembling voice, radiant eyes, hands clasped together, was proof of clear progress, hope beginning to flicker, and the patience of those who stood by her side guiding her from despair toward the first light of healing. For Ethan, this was not just a voice exercise. It was a moment to witness the power of empathy, patience, and human care. For Lily, it was the first time since the tragedy that she felt able to move forward, knowing her voice still existed, and that even amidst external pressures, hope could blossom from steady small steps. And in that moment, amid soft golden light piano music and steady breaths, Lily Harper realized for the first time that fear and doubt could not stop her from reclaiming her voice, and that hope had always existed, waiting for her to speak and trust in herself. Chapter 7. Persistence and Patience. That morning, weak sunlight filtered through the therapy room curtains, casting thin golden streaks across the wooden floor. Lily Harper entered clutching a small notebook, her eyes still red from previous sessions. But today, she felt something different, not the extreme tension of past days, but a faint, spreading hope within her. She knew she had come a long way, yet the journey to fully reclaim her voice still lay ahead. Ethan Carter was already there, standing near the window, eyes soft, holding a cup of hot coffee. He looked at Lily with a gaze both serious and encouraging. No words were needed. His presence alone made her feel safe. Every therapy session had become more than a voice exercise. It was a mental journey where Ethan guided her step by step with patience and empathy. Dr. Samuel Kim had prepared a series of exercises, simple sounds, short sentences, longer sentences, and breathing exercises coordinated with pronunciation. Lily sat down, hands on the table, eyes focused on every movement. Dr. Kim made her heartbeat syncing with the gentle piano music in the room. She inhaled deeply, trying to regulate her breath before speaking. "Let's start with short sentences first," Dr. Kim instructed. "Inhale, exhale, and pronounce each word." Lily's lips trembled as she spoke. "I can do." Her voice was still weak and shaky, but it was real. Ethan smiled, gaze gentle, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder, once again transmitting a sense of safety and motivation. The morning passed with shaky pronunciations, single words and short sentences, but each sound was a small victory, building her confidence. Lily felt each vibration in her vocal cords, each coordinated breath gradually strengthening her voice. She realized that speaking was not just sound. It was an expression of spirit, patience, and inner strength she once thought lost. Day after day, Ethan remained patiently by her side, never rushing or judging. He guided her step by step, emphasizing each sound, sometimes offering a subtle smile sometimes leaning slightly, eyes locking with hers in deep empathy. Lily realized that sometimes the mere presence of someone silent, pressure-free, was enough to lift her spirits and help her trust herself. Lily began trying longer sentences. I am learning to speak again. Her voice trembled, but was no longer completely silent. The warmth in Ethan's eyes and the quiet encouragement from Sophie gradually bolstered her confidence. Each sentence, though imperfect, was meaningful, each a step closer to normal speech. Day by day, practice stretched from morning to afternoon, each passing moment a challenge, yet also a small triumph. Lily learned to coordinate her breath with her vocal cords, realizing that speech was a subtle harmony of body and mind. When her first shaky sound rang out, she understood she was no longer alone. Ethan, Sophie, and Dr. Kim were there supporting her and sharing their strength. One afternoon, she tried a longer sentence. I can face my fears and speak freely. Her voice trembled, but was stronger than before, eyes flickering with confidence. Ethan stood nearby, nodding slightly, smiling subtly. Sophie beamed, hugging her tightly, filling the room with warm energy. For the first time since the tragedy, Lily felt true belief taking root, hope growing, and realized she could move forward. Dr. Kim noted Lily's progress, both satisfied and cautious. See each successfully spoken sentence as a big step forward. Patience is key, and she's on the right path. Lily smiled, eyes shining, pride swelling within her. She understood that success wasn't about speaking perfectly immediately. It was about small steps, trembling sounds, short sentences, and steady breaths. Each patient session was a victory, a testament to her mental strength and perseverance. Ethan observed her gaze full of encouragement. He knew that for Lily to regain her voice, it required more than technique and exercises. It required patience, empathy, and consistent presence. He realized that human care, patience, and small sparks of hope could build confidence and help her progress further than she ever imagined. Each session ended with a small, successful sentence. I am learning. Every day. Shaky week, yet full of meaning. Lily looked at Ethan and Sophie, eyes bright, a gentle smile on her lips. She felt the warmth of human care, Ethan's gentleness, Sophie's love, Dr. Kim's patience, all creating a strong emotional foundation, enabling her to take another step on the path of recovery. Over the following days, Lily grew more confident. She tried longer sentences, her voice stronger, her breathing steadier. Ethan stood nearby, eyes soft, smiling, as she spoke her first complete sentence. I can express myself without fear. Sophie cheered, hugging her tears, glistening smile radiant. The entire room was filled with small yet intense joy, marking clear progress in the healing process. Golden light shone on Lily's face. Piano music played softly, breaths, even all blending into a vivid picture of patience, hope, and human care. Lily sensed that each small step, each trembling sentence, each first word was proof of the inner strength she thought lost forever. That moment, the empathetic gaze of Ethan, Sophie's joy, Dr. Kim's patience, and the trembling yet real words became a turning point. Lily Harper realized that her recovery journey was far from over, but hope and belief were growing strong enough to allow her to continue step by step, from silence to speech, from despair to the light of healing. In that pale golden afternoon light, Lily understood that patience and human care not only helped her reclaim her voice, but also taught her to trust herself, to trust the power of perseverance and empathy forces stronger than any outside pressure or fear. Chapter 8. The First Sentence. Afternoon. Sunlight filtered through the therapy room curtains, casting warm golden streaks across the wooden floor. The room was quiet, filled only with the soft background piano and the steady rhythm of Lily Harper's breathing. She sat in her familiar chair, hands resting lightly on the table, eyes fixed on Dr. Samuel Kim and Ethan Carter, who had been by her side throughout her arduous practice. Her heart raced, a mixture of excitement and hope swelling within her. Today was the most important session yet. For the first time, Lily would attempt a full sentence. She inhaled deeply, feeling her heartbeat, her breath, and every vibration in her vocal cords. Step by step, she prepared to speak. Her voice trembled, hands still slightly shaking, but her determination was unwavering. This was more than a sentence. It was proof of her recovery journey, of the patience and faith she had once doubted still existed. Dr. Kim smiled, eyes gentle yet serious. Start with your breath, calm and steady. Each word is a step forward. You're ready, Lily. Lily nodded, closed her eyes, and took a deep breath. She opened her mouth, the sound trembling softly. I can. Her voice was weak, but real, the first sound since the tragedy. A wave of emotion surged through her, joy intertwined with nervous anticipation. Ethan, standing nearby, eyes full of encouragement, leaned slightly and gently held her hand. The moment seemed to slow, like time in slow motion. Ethan's warm smile, the golden light on their faces, the subtle vibrations of the space around her, all seemed to cheer her on. Outside, Sophie's eyes shone, tears streaming down her cheeks, but a radiant smile lighting her face. She couldn't contain her joy at hearing her sister's first sound. You said it, she exclaimed, eyes full of trust and pride. Lily inhaled again, keeping her breath steady, and continued, I can speak. Her voice trembled, but grew stronger. Ethan smiled, squeezing her hand gently, his eyes conveying, you did it. Tears ran down Lily's cheeks, no longer of despair, but of gentle happiness and hope. Dr. Kim patted Lily's hand lightly, encouraging her. Very good. Now finish the sentence. Take a deep breath and continue. Lily inhaled deeply and spoke again. I can speak again. Her voice trembled, but the sentence was complete. The therapy room seemed to pause in that moment. Ethan held her hand tightly, eyes shining with deep emotion. Time seemed to stretch sunlight on their faces. Ethan's soft smile, their hands clasped, and every small vibration in the room cheering this historic moment. Sophie rushed in, hugging Lily, tears streaming, yet her smile could not be hidden. You did it. I believe in you. Her voice quivered with joy. Lily smiled, warmth spreading through her body, dispelling some of the darkness of her days of silence. Dr. Kim looked at Lily, eyes both proud and cautious. This is a major step forward. You did it, Lily. Your voice is coming back, word by word, sentence by sentence. Lily looked at Ethan, eyes full of emotion. In that moment, she realized it wasn't just her voice that had been restored, but her faith and hope as well. Ethan, who had patiently stood by her throughout the journey, was not only a source of emotional support, but a living proof that empathy, patience, and kindness can heal the deepest wounds. She inhaled deeply, feeling the new sound resonate in her throat. Each trembling word, each phrase was a victory proof of effort and patience. The therapy room was filled with joy, golden light spilling across the space, blending with the soft piano. Everyone present sensed the historic moment. Lily Harper, once trapped in despairing silence, had found her voice again. Ethan gently squeezed her hand, smiling eyes full of emotion. No words were necessary. The message was conveyed through his gaze, smile, and touch. Lily realized that recovery was not just about regaining her voice, but about human care, patience, and absolute trust in oneself. Sophie, tears still glistening, continued to hold Lily tightly, whispering, "I believe in you. You did it." Warmth radiated through Lily. Her voice was trembling, but real. Her eyes bright, a gentle smile appearing. This was the moment she realized she was no longer alone. Speech was more than sound. It was the expression of her heart, her faith, and her hope. In the minutes that followed, Lily spoke a few more sentences, shaky but clear. "I am happy. I can speak." Each word, each phrase was a small victory, yet carried immense significance. Ethan smiled, Sophie cheered, and Dr. Kim nodded in satisfaction. The room was bathed in golden light piano music, blending with Lily's steady breaths, creating a scene both warm and full of hope. Lily realized that for the first time since the tragedy, her voice had not only returned, but also symbolized the faith, patience, and human care that had nurtured her back to life. That moment, trembling but complete words, hopeful eyes, hands clasped together, marked a turning point. Lily Harper, once trapped in silent despair, had now stepped out of the shadows, reclaiming her voice, her faith, and her hope. Golden light shone on her face, the soft piano continuing in the background, every first trembling sound resonating like a small symphony of recovery, trust, and happiness. Ethan stood beside her gaze, empathetic, gentle, yet steadfast. Sophie hugged her tightly, tears streaming, but smile radiant. Dr. Kim noted her progress, satisfied yet cautious. This moment, amid light music and steady breaths, stood as a testament to the power of patience, human care, and self-trust. Lily Harper had broken through the wall of silence. For the first time in many days, she felt full of faith, gentle joy, and hope. And as the session ended, Lily looked at Ethan, eyes brimming with emotion, a trembling yet genuine smile on her lips. For the first time, she truly knew that her voice had returned, and with it, her belief in herself, and the hope that no matter how hard things may be, she could overcome them. Chapter 9. Voice Restored. That morning, Lily Harper's small room was bathed in warm golden sunlight. Rays streamed through the curtains, reflecting off the wooden table and floor, creating a space that felt both intimate and gentle. The background piano music played, but this time it was no longer weak and somber like in the past. Every note now became part of a vibrant, hopeful, and healing picture. Lily sat in her familiar chair, holding a cup of tea, but this time there was no trembling or fear when she spoke. She looked at her sister, Sophie, eyes bright, a soft smile on her lips. "Sophie, I can finally talk," she said, voice slightly shaky but full of confidence. For the first time in weeks, her voice sounded complete, no longer caught or silenced. Sophie jumped up, hugging her sister tightly, tears streaming, but a radiant smile on her face. You can really speak. I'm so happy." Her voice trembled with joy. Lily smiled, warmth spreading through her body, dispelling the months of silence and despair. Ethan Carter stood nearby, gaze gentle, smiling. He leaned down, holding Lily's hand lightly, as if to transmit invisible strength. The moment seemed to slow. In her mind, Ethan's warm smile. Their hands clasped their hearts, beating in rhythm. She realized that regaining her voice was more than sound. It was emotional restoration, proof of trust, patience, and human care. Mia Brooks, Ethan's loyal assistant, entered the room, eyes bright, holding a recording device. "Lily, you can talk now," she asked, full of surprise and joy. Lily nodded, recounting her practice sessions, the trembling effort, every word and sentence she had once feared to speak. Her voice was stronger, full of emotion, making Mia smile and shed a few tears. "I remember the first time I tried to say a word," Lily said, voice trembling, but clear. "It was just, 'Hello,' but it felt like climbing a mountain. And now I can speak freely. I can share. I can feel alive again." Sophie wiped her tears, holding her sister's hand tightly. "I knew you could do it. I always believed you'd find your voice." And you did. The room was filled with positive energy, laughter, and speech, blending with the gentle background music, forming a warm, hopeful, and joyful scene. Ethan listened, eyes full of empathy. He realized Lily's journey was not just about regaining speech. It was about restoring faith, hope, and emotional connection. Every word she spoke now was proof of patience, human care, and courage she had once doubted she still possessed. Lily continued recounting her challenging practice sessions, the failures, the tears. But now all were cherished, memories, reminders of how far she had come. Every day was a struggle, she said, voice steadier. "But I learned patience, I learned trust, and I learned that I'm stronger than I thought." Ethan held her hand once more, eyes gentle, but shining with pride. "You did it, Lily. You really did it," he said in his deep, warm voice. Lily smiled, warmth spreading through her body, realizing for the first time since the tragedy, her voice had returned, but more importantly so, had her confidence, happiness, and belief in herself. Sophie hugged her tightly, both smiling heartbeats and sync, eyes shining. The therapy room was no longer just a place of practice. It had become a symbol of recovery, human connection, and reclaimed trust. The piano played softly. Golden light filled the space. Steady breaths, echoing, celebrating Lily's first true victory. Her voice restored, her heart healed. Mia Brooks, standing nearby, quietly recorded the moment. She knew this was not just progress in speech. It was a testament to mental strength, patience, and the power of human care to rebuild faith and heal deep wounds. Lily continued, speaking each word stronger. "I am happy. I can communicate and share my feelings." Every word was a small victory, but together they formed a great leap forward, a clear proof of her full recovery. Ethan smiled, eyes gentle but shining with pride. Sophie jumped up, hugging her, shouting with joy. You did it. I'm so happy." Lily laughed, warmth spreading through her body, flowing through every breath and vibration. She realized that happiness was not just her voice, but the full restoration of her soul, the connection, and the overflowing faith. Dr. Samuel Kim, standing behind, noted her progress, satisfied yet cautious. "Look, Lily has made remarkable progress. Her voice is back strong, clear, and confident. This is the result of patience, practice, and the unwavering support from those around her." Lily inhaled deeply, looking at Ethan and Sophie. Her eyes shone, smile genuine, full of faith. She felt every vibration around her, the piano music, golden light, steady breathing, and the hands of Ethan and Sophie holding hers. Everything merged into a perfect moment where her voice, hope, and happiness overflowed. She smiled, voice trembling, but clear. I am back. I can speak freely, and I'm happy. The therapy room echoed with laughter and cheer, golden light, and gentle piano notes. That moment became a landmark in Lily Harper's journey. She had fully recovered, regained her voice, and rediscovered faith and genuine happiness. As the session ended, Lily stood hands clasped with Sophie and Ethan, feeling warmth spreading through her body. She knew the journey of healing was not yet fully over, but her faith and hope were abundant, strong enough to guide her through any challenge ahead. She smiled, eyes shining, stepping forward with confidence, a girl no longer afraid, no longer in despair, but filled with hope and happiness. Chapter 10. A New Beginning. On a winter morning, golden sunlight streamed through the tree branches, casting its glow onto the quiet street, where a thin layer of snow was slowly melting. The air was crisp and cool, yet the light felt like a sign of a new beginning. Lily Harper stepped out of the therapy building, holding Ethan Carter's hand. She stood in the sunlight, feeling its warmth on her face, dissolving the dark memories of her silent months. Ethan walked beside her, moving slowly, his gaze gentle yet determined. Known as a powerful CEO, a man who ran everything with sharp vision and decisiveness. In this moment, Ethan revealed another side of himself. Tender, human, patient, empathetic, attentive to what truly mattered, people, and the care we show for one another. Lily inhaled deeply, savoring the winter air mixed with melting snow, feeling each breath as a pulse of new life. She gripped Ethan's hand tightly, eyes shining, a small smile forming. For the first time in weeks, she felt freedom. Her regained voice was a gateway to the world. I can speak freely, she whispered, voice trembling but full of faith. Ethan looked at her, nodding slightly, a subtle smile on his face, eyes brimming with empathy. The surroundings mirrored her inner emotions, snow-melting droplets sparkling in the golden light, creating a scene both peaceful and alive. Every sound became vivid, the chirping of birds, distant traffic, the gentle rustle of leaves. Everything seemed to celebrate her recovery, syncing with her heartbeat, breath, and overflowing joy. Sophie Harper ran over, leaping into her sister's arms. You really did it, she cheered, voice full of joy. Lily laughed, her smile, radiant eyes shining with confidence and happiness. For the first time since the tragedy, she no longer doubted herself, no longer trembled before challenges. Her voice was back, and her heart was full of belief. Ethan stood close, gaze gentle, lightly squeezing her hand. Time seemed to slow, golden light on their faces, slow smiles, every surrounding sound pausing. Their steps on the melting snow harmonized with their heartbeats, a slow, living melody of revival. Passers-by glanced at Ethan, and Lily, surprised at first, then admiring. The powerful CEO now appearing in soft golden light, holding the hand of a young woman who had reclaimed her voice, revealed that power and humanity could coexist. His presence by Lily's side proved that empathy and authority are not mutually exclusive. Lily turned to Ethan, smiling, brighter eyes sparkling. "Thank you for believing in me," she said, warm, trembling, yet clear. Ethan held her hand tighter, looking deep into her eyes full of care. "You did it, Lily. You always had it in you." Sophie, wiping tears, smiled brighter than ever. "You've found yourself again," she whispered. Lily inhaled deeply, sensing every vibration of her body, each breath, each sound around her. She realized that her voice was not merely sound. It was an expression of faith, confidence, and overflowing happiness. They continued down the street, snow melting under their feet. Every surrounding sound became more vivid: footsteps, the wind, soft laughter from passers-by. Each step Lily took affirmed her recovery. She was no longer afraid, no longer doubting, confidently stepping into the world full of hope. Ethan spoke softly to Lily, without pressure, listening to every word she shared about her healing journey. Each detail, every past tremulous word, was now a cherished memory, a testament to progress and patience. Lily laughed, eyes bright, heartbeat, in sync with the rhythm of the light and surrounding sounds. Passers-by witnessed the scene, surprised at first, then filled with admiration. Ethan, a renowned CEO, stood beside a radiant young woman, holding her hand with gentleness and humanity. His support had not only healed Lily, but reminded everyone that true strength combines power with compassion. Lily recounted to Ethan and Sophie the feeling of speaking her first complete sentence, the tears of joy, each small step that had great meaning. Her voice was steady, eyes shining. Ethan listened, smiling, gently squeezing her hand, giving her a sense of safety and protection. Sophie cheered, running around with joy, laughter filling the air. The surrounding environment harmonized with their heartbeats and breath, creating a scene both warm and lively. Golden rays illuminated their faces, blending with the piano music and birdsong, a perfect picture of recovery, hope, and human care. Lily realized that the journey from silence to speech, from despair to hope, was not only personal healing, but also proof of the power of patience, empathy, and love. They stopped mid-street, sunlight flooding the scene. Lily inhaled deeply, feeling the warmth from Ethan's hand and Sophie's protective embrace. She realized the world was no longer frightening pressure, no longer overwhelming. Her voice had returned, faith overflowed, and hope radiated not only in her, but in the eyes of those around her. Ethan looked at Lily, eyes gentle, yet full of determination. "This is your new beginning. Your voice, your life. It's yours again." Lily squeezed his hand, smiling brightly, warmth spreading through her body. She knew the journey ahead was long, but now she was ready to step forward with confidence, strength, and hope. Golden sunlight, piano music, laughter voices, all intertwined, creating a perfect moment of a new beginning. Sophie cheered beside her, Ethan smiled, and Lily walked over the melting snow, voice full of confidence. "I am ready." In that moment, light, sound, and breath merged into one. Lily Harper had not only reclaimed her voice, but also her hope, confidence, and happiness. Ethan Carter, the powerful CEO, was seen not only for his authority, but also for his humanity, patience, and empathy. And on that winter street, a story of hope, healing, and human care concluded an ending, complete yet opening a new beginning for both. The final rays of sunlight shone upon them, snow melting beneath their feet, laughter and voices blending together. spreading belief and joy. Lily walked forward, confident, radiant hope filling her heart, and the world around seemed to smile with her.